The outcast alien. Zyra was different. Among her species, the Valyrians, tall, silver-skinned beings with bioluminescent markings, she stood out. Her luminous patterns were irregular, her antennae slightly bent, and her voice carried an unusual tremor. In the halls of Galactic Academy Station 17, these differences made her a target. A group of older Valyrians, confident in their dominance, decided to humiliate her publicly. During lunch in the station's central dining hall, they forced Zyra to kneel, to eat scraps of food from the floor, laughing at every hesitant bite. The hall's gravity field made the act all the more humiliating, and even nearby students looked away, too afraid to intervene. Zyra's eyes flickered with both fear and quiet defiance. She swallowed the last bit of mush, tears forming but never falling. The Valyrians were cruel, but she had learned that survival often required endurance rather than confrontation. Enter Jax Mercer. A human transfer student from Earth, Jax had a reputation for recklessness, a knack for bending rules, and a sense of justice that outweighed his caution. He had seen the ordeal from across the hall and, after only a moment of calculation, stepped forward, hands in his pockets. He looked at Zyra, then at the Valyrians, and muttered, almost casually, "Hold my beer." Middle. The human response. The Valyrians laughed, their voices echoing in the metallic hall. "What can a fragile human do against us?" one sneered, flicking a tentacle in Jax's direction. Jax ignored the insult. He knelt next to Zyra, offering her his water canister. "Here. Don't let them see you break." She hesitated, taking it, and in that moment, something shifted. Jax's calm defiance radiated a quiet power that the Valyrians hadn't anticipated. "Bullies love spectacle," Jax said, standing. "So let's give them a show they'll never forget." He tapped his wrist device, activating a small gravity disruptor hidden beneath his sleeve, a piece of experimental tech he had smuggled from Earth. The floor beneath the bullies suddenly shifted, tilting just enough to unbalance them without causing serious injury. Valyrians stumbled, their laughter dying in confusion. Jax didn't stop there. Using precise, controlled bursts from his handheld plasma tether, he created temporary barriers around Zyra, shielding her from further harassment. The once dominant bullies found themselves trapped in a maze of invisible energy, their own movements restricted, their superiority challenged by a human half their size. Zyra watched, stunned. She had expected fear, or perhaps pity. But humans were audacious. They didn't calculate every risk before acting. They relied on instinct, courage, and sheer unpredictability. "Are you okay?" Jax asked, extending a hand to help her stand fully. Zyra nodded, a small glow of her markings pulsing in gratitude. I think so. Thank you." "Don't thank me yet," Jax replied with a grin. "We've got work to do." The turning point. Word of the incident spread like wildfire across the academy. Humans, long underestimated, had intervened in a way no Valyrian expected. Teachers were alerted, but even they hesitated. Jax's actions, though disruptive, caused no permanent harm and effectively humiliated the bullies without breaking regulations. The Valyrians who had tormented Zyra now found themselves isolated. Their peers, both human and alien, watched in awe. The spectacle had flipped the power dynamic entirely. The bullies were no longer in control. The humans, and by extension Zyra, now held moral authority. That evening, Jax and Zyra sat in the observation deck, looking out over the luminescent city of Station 17. "I've never seen anyone do that before," Zyra admitted. "I mean, humans are so fearless." Jax shrugged. "We're reckless, sure. But sometimes, it's the only way to make things right. You didn't deserve that. Nobody does. And if standing up to bullies, even giant alien ones, requires a little chaos, I don't mind." Zyra's bioluminescent markings brightened slightly, a visible sign of her growing trust. Do you always fight for others like this?" "Not always," Jax said with a laugh. "But when it matters? Hell yeah. And sometimes it's fun." Ending. The power of human courage. In the days that followed, Zyra's status at the Academy transformed. Where she had been isolated and mocked, she now received invitations to join study groups, recreational teams, and interspecies councils. Humans, with their audacity, had rewritten the social dynamics in ways even the instructors found remarkable. The Valyrians who had bullied her were reprimanded officially, their pride bruised beyond repair. But more importantly, they had learned a lesson. Humans were unpredictable, courageous, and, above all, capable of challenging hierarchies that seemed unassailable. Jax and Zyra became fast friends, often seen training together in zero-gravity arenas, running tactical simulations, and debating alien politics. The incident in the dining hall became legendary, the "hold my beer" moment, as students called it, symbolizing human ingenuity and bravery in the face of oppression. Months later, Zyra sent Jax a small, carefully folded note, decorated with the glowing symbols of her species. "Because of you, I am seen. Because of you, I know courage has no species." Jax tucked the note into his jacket, smiling. "Guess we're even then." Across the galaxy, tales of human courage spread. Alien societies began re-evaluating their assumptions about humans, recognizing a species whose strength was not measured in size, weapons, or age, but in spirit and audacity. Zyra, once the outcast, became an ambassador for interspecies cooperation, teaching others the lesson humans had exemplified, that courage, empathy, and standing up for the weak could reshape entire societies. And Jax? He remained, as always, ready to say, when injustice appeared, "Hold my beer." The Academy, and indeed the galaxy, would never underestimate humans again.